Hi everyone, so today we'll be covering on content strategy. I'm super excited to share with you this very important topic to actually help you to actually build up your credibility. All right, so let's go into this topic right now. All right, so content strategy is the ongoing process of transforming business objectives and goals into a plan that actually uses content as a primary means of actually achieving those goals. All right, the reason why we want to build content is, of course, to build up credibility, and most importantly, we want to add value to the people. All right, which is also our potential customers. All right, building good content actually help us to nurture our leads, and hopefully one day we will actually convert them into paying customers. So what exactly is content? All right, so content is a single word loaded with different connotations and meanings that actually depend on its context. All right, yet a single concise definition is elusive. All right, so most of us will simply say we know it when we see it. All right, it applies to technical white papers and in-depth blog posts as much as it does to TikTok videos and memes. So it might be best to think of content along several different lines. All right. So in the realm of digital marketing, content actually encompasses of four core elements. All right. The first one is actually information. All right. What are the actual contents of your message? All right. It can be actually factual, practical, entertaining, informative, or some combination of the three. All right. The second is actually context. All right, what is the content supposed to help you and the readers to accomplish? So, who is your target audience for this content and why is it being published? So, for example, if you go to my own Instagram page, you realize that um, the kind of content and context is actually targeting at people, business people, all right, or people that is interested to learn how to make money or learn how to do business, all right. The third one will be medium. All right, what channel are you publishing the content on, and how does that influence the overall message? All right, so the medium will also determine who your target audience is. And the fourth point is actually form, right? So form is the content, text, right? Graphics, audio, video, interactive, virtual, augmented reality, etc. So what is the form, right, of the content that you're actually delivering? So content is the information that is relevant in a given context and has a form shaped by the medium through which is transmitted. So what is exactly content strategy? All right, so content strategy is the ongoing process of actually translating business objectives and goals into a plan that uses content as a primary means of achieving those goals. So as a content strategist, right, it's your responsibility to know the larger goals you are contributing to and why. Once you have established your core objectives, the how of your content strategy is honed by asking simple yet vital questions. So the first question that you can ask yourself is, what do we want our content to accomplish in pursuit of our business goals? All right. You can also ask, what is the target audience for the different types of content we will produce? What does a content audit of our site tells us about our existing content that we have and our gaps? And how will we source our content ideas? How will we ensure they align with our brand voice, goals, and audiences? So when you look at when you go to a social media, look for a particular brand or you look for a particular influencer, right? The content will actually tell you a lot about the brand or the influencer, who they are targeting, what is their branding, uh, what kind of value they are giving to their clients or customers. So why is it important to have a content strategy? All right, so you will be directionless without a content strategy, chasing whatever new shiny object that actually enters your line of sight. So for my program, right, I realized that actually most marketers will tell you that yes, you can actually have a advertisement, and eventually your clients will jump into a landing page. You have a good copywriting and you have a very solid landing page, and people will pay you money and join your program immediately. But in reality, right, that's not the case. When people see your ads, right, they will look at it for a few times and they will begin to actually Google or look for you on social media platform, right? They will probably follow you on your social media platform and they will want to get to know more about you, right? And when they see your ads a few more times, right, and when you retarget them, and then they will probably feel that, all right, maybe this is the kind of brand that I like, or for example, this is the kind of trainer that I want to learn from, and they will actually book the webinar on your landing page, right? So I realized that most of the time it's not so straight line, where most marketers will tell you that once they see your ads, they go to a landing page and eventually they buy your product or services. What I realized is having a content is really important because it builds up your brand and your credibility. So the type of the fact is that the content life cycle needs to start somewhere, right? So here is what it looks like. Most of the time, we start with strategy, right? We need to know who's the customer that we have, and of course, then we execute, right? So once we know who our customers is, we come up with a content strategy, and then we execute it. And so once we execute it, we will see results. Now, the key for content strategy is always about consistency. All right, it's always about consistency. It's not about how many times you post. It's about consistency. Are you consistent throughout the year? So the wheel represent the cycle of content strategy and execution, right? So strategy leads to execution, and execution leads to results, which you use to influence your strategy on an ongoing basis. Right, so let's look at how to create a content marketing strategy. All right, let's dive in and to learn the specifics on how to create a content marketing plan. Firstly, you need to define your goal. All right, so you need to know your goals before you begin planning, and you will have an easier time determining what's best for your strategy. Then, of course, you conduct persona research. By knowing your target audience, you can actually produce more relevant and valuable content that you will want to read and convert on. All right, the key about marketing is not about attracting everybody, but it's also about repelling. All right, you want to repel people that you don't want to work with, or you don't want them to follow you. All right, so it's always not just about attracting everybody, but it's also about attracting the right people and repelling people that is not your target audience. Then of course, you can also run a content audit. All right, so review your content marketing efforts and the results by running a content audit. Figure out what you can do differently and set new goals to reach. And of course, you can choose a content management system, right? So have a system in place where you can actually create, manage, and track your content, otherwise also known as content management system, what we commonly call CMS. So brainstorm your content ideas, right? So start coming up with new ideas for your next content projects. All right, so here are some of the tools that you can get started. All right, so most of us, we use these tools actually to look at what is trending out there. All right, so what I usually encourage my students is to go through these platforms, especially BuzzSumo, and you can actually see what are some of the trending content, right? What I realized that is if you can actually piggyback and catch on the wave for trending content, most likely your content will actually go viral, and always come up with up-to-date content, meaning that you try to talk about things that are up to date. All right. So determine which types of content you want to create. All right, there are a variety of options out there for content you can create. Choose your niche and actually build your content according to the response you get on your creations. All right, so when you post out content out there, people will start commenting, and make sure that you reply all the comments to get people engaged. And from there, you will learn from your audience what kind of content they are looking out for. So the various types of content you can actually choose from, right? So here are like blog posts, ebooks, case studies, templates, infographics, videos, podcasts, and of course, social media. Posting on social media, however, is pivotal to amplifying your brand reach and delivering your content to your customers. So social media on which businesses often post include Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Snapchat, and YouTube. Personally, I will always encourage my students to start from 2 to 3 platforms. You don't want to stretch yourself too thin by going into so many different platforms, right? What I want to encourage my students is to focus on 2 to 3 platforms if you are just starting out. All right. The most common platforms that I use are Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All right. So you'll find ways to optimize your workflows. You'll get feedbacks from customers, prospects, partners, and the public about your content, and that can actually help you to refine your overall strategy. All right. So in conclusion, right, content is not something that you do it once a year or a quarter. You're constantly updating and actually finding new ways to improve through this cycle in a smarter way compared to last time, right? Along the way, your content team might be collecting, learning, and creating a documented content strategy. All right. So it's actually a process that we actually constantly optimize and make sure that we deliver better content to our audience. All right. So I hope you learned something today, and I'll see you in the next module.